Alright fam, this is Noah. I'm in the middle of a cleaning day. Looks like we've got more eggs than usual. These were already in the carton from a couple days ago. It looks like we got 8 eggs in total right here from the day. I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. I'm gonna also do some maintenance on the nesting boxes and the coop, and then we can talk about what's happened to our homestead. Hey guys, this is our garden right here. We've been taken care of. Yesterday we weeded about half of it. We've gotten some done, but not too much. We've planted beans across this trellis. Yeah, we've been plenty overdue for this. It's like almost summer and we haven't planted anything in here. Our perennial area has been growing ever since the video from 3 years ago. It's been doing pretty good. We've had some trees that died and we've had some trees that survived, like this one. Then we have right here a rose bush that we planted. We're planning on turning this into a food forest. Yeah, and there's the elderberry bushes. They've just been growing taller and taller. I mean, look at those things. They're like little trees. They're taller than me, and I'm like almost 6 foot. And yeah, there's these herbs. They're starting to flower. That's a good sign. Here's a fig. I don't know if it's dead or not. Hopefully it ain't dead. There's this right here. I think this is a hazelnut tree. It's actually starting to bloom. I'll show you right here. Here's a flower. And yeah. Of course, we got our, is that sage? It's probably sage or thyme or whatnot. I forget the herb. And we got our little shootlets of elderberries that are starting to try to grow. And this massive viney contraption of blackberries. I mean, it said they were supposed to be bushes, but I doubt it. They're looking like vines now. If they were to stand up, they would probably be up there, maybe, above the blueberry bushes. As tall as the elderberry bushes, maybe, or even taller. Because, I mean, look at the size of this thing. Here's our other fig. It seems to be doing pretty good, and that's good. We need at least one of them to survive. And our crabapple's doing great too. It's as tall as the electric fence, which I don't know if you can see there, but there's our 7 remaining chickens. They're all doing pretty well. Also, here's our flower bed. It's doing pretty well in some places. It's got a good bit of trees trying to grow in it, mainly crabapple, I believe. But our irises are doing pretty good despite those. And I love the boulders that we put around there that we got. We've been just digging up these boulders right here throughout the whole yard, mainly the old barn, but we have clusters of these. Clusters in the wood and in random places in the yard. We still have some in random places. Makes me wonder when we'll be finished digging those huge rocks out from the ground in our yard, man. It's just crazy. With that, let's take a walk down the dirt road and talk about what has happened to our homestead ever since the video we created 3 years ago. I'm gonna do this real fast. Hey guys, so I'm deep in the road. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our homestead and the history behind it, the way it's been since 2020. And I'm gonna tell you how we started off too. We had 5 chickens, and we thought that all of them were going to be hens, but 4 of them turned out to be roosters. And we had 1 goat, which we kept in the dog fence that we built. Later on, we started our garden, and we went from there. Our only hen got by a hawk, and so that caused chaos amongst our roosters for a little while. But then we got 5 grown hens to help with that. But it was still not enough, because each rooster requires 5 hens at minimum. So by 2021, we got 40 chicks and a rooster. We planted our perennial area in 2021 in place of our cornfield that we planted in 2020. And it's been growing since from there. In 2021, we saw an increase in goat population because Copper was lonely. We needed to get another goat. We named the goat Yosef, and we bought another electric fence for the goats, and that went pretty well. We also got more pairs. We got Ruth and Boaz, David and Bathsheba. We got Darla, and Obed was birthed by Ruth. And in 2021, the garden did fantastic. Our porch turned into a garden. Everything was so fertile that year. It was like we were the Green Thumb masters that year. But we also started facing problems. In 2021, David died instantly when we got him. Foam was coming out of his mouth. We think he had poisoning. So we moved the fence. We put Bathsheba with Copper eventually. But, alas, she did not live long. And that ended 2021. We were still not suspicious of anything wrong that was going on with the goats. But 2022, coming up, would prove us wrong. So what happened in 2022, the chickens population kind of remained the same. We butchered a couple roosters and a couple hens died off. But nothing significant. We had around 41 at the end of the year. But about a good bit of our goat population died off. By the end of 2022, we had only half of our goat population. We only had Ruth, Boaz, Obed, and we had Darla. Copper died off. Yosef died off. And a couple of our other goats died off. We tried our best to keep them, but nothing seemed to work. By the end of 2022, we knew there was something wrong with the goats, not only because of the deaths, but because of how much we had to feed those things. We had to feed those things multiple times a day because they were starving. Our 1 acre of land was not enough for them. And I don't think we caught on to that in 2021 when we bought all these goats. Because we were like, hey, look at this. We could buy all these goats and we'll be perfectly fine. Yeah, by the end of it, we were proven wrong. And in 2023, that clicked. And we sold the rest of our goats because they were being malnourished and they just needed better land. And we sold off a lot of our chickens. We kept 12. It was pretty devastating for me because starting from the summer of 2021 and ending all the way at when we were selling all these animals, I was the main caretaker of these animals. I personally dealt with their tragedies. I handled them every single day. It was not fun. It felt defeating. But in the end, it was good to be defeated. Because we knew then that we were pursuing something that was going to lead to catastrophe. And we were not thriving properly. Yeah, we put big feet in little shoes, and we were wondering why the little shoes were rubbing blisters in the feet, why we were kind of losing blood flow to the feet, because the veins were closed up. We were really, really worried about all this. And we learned that we have to expand the shoe size first, so to speak. We had to do things like clear the woods. We had to do things like, get more land before we get more animals. And let this be advice for you too. Any homesteaders that are planning to do 1 acre, that's fine with me. I'm not your decision maker. But I recommend that you at least have some good execution, because we did not, and we ended up paying a lot for hay and feed, about $1,000 every year, which, yeah, that cuts into your budget, and that's not good at all. Not good. And, thriving properly will help you survive a bit better when a situation comes up like food shortages and stuff like that, because if you're not thriving properly, your productivity will slow down because you're dealing with malnourished animals and many animals dying, and that's not a good thing. You want to have a prospering homestead in a good way, not a way where there's a lot of animals and no production from them. So that's the main thing to take away. Don't do what we did, because that'll end up really, really bad for you and your homesteading. So guys, there's one thing I haven't touched on yet, and that is how we were doing in the recent years, from the time we sold the animals to 2024, this year. So we put ourselves on a rotation schedule. 5 chickens died ever since we sold all those animals. But we're also planning on getting a new flock of chickens, either egg or meat laying, or both. We're hoping both, because that'll be pretty cool. But we'll see. As to our garden, we're a little bit late on that. It's almost summer, and we're just getting things set up now, planting stuff in the garden. So, yeah, you know how that goes. We've been lagging behind, but we try to do the best that we can for our homestead. And we're thankful to start at some point, So take care, guys. And I hope you gained a little bit of advice from that. If you're planning on doing a 1 acre homestead, use some proper execution skills, maybe build a barn for your goats, set something up for your chickens. Maybe even keep your chickens and goats together. We did that for a couple when we used to have chickens and goats, and that actually didn't go too bad. There were some things that we would suggest, though, because the chickens will be tempted to eat the goat's food. And if you're in a 1-acre homestead, it's not very, very good. So have a good bit of hay stored up for them, but also have a good pasture for the chickens and the goats.
Little warning here, the goats will like to try to headbutt the chickens. That's a problem we had constantly.
And if you have more than 1 acre, I recommend you do something to your land first. If you have only 1 acre of cleared land and the rest is just woods, then clear it out. Get some animals to help you clear it out, like pigs. They're really, really good at that stuff. They can eat just about anything. They don't have anything that really can poison them. They eat each other's corpses, so I'm not sure what can poison them. My sister's walking with me, and she's making the grossed out face.
Disgusting. It's disgusting.
All right, guys. I've loved this little walk. We're back at the farm. Take care. I'll see you in more videos, and we'll be rebuilding our homestead in a good way this time, expanding the shoe size. Yeah, be blessed.
No, are you serious? They actually eat each other's corpses.
Yep.
Oh my god.
They drink their own pee and they eat their own poop. See you in more videos. And thank you for hanging around to watch me gross out my sister.